Welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willis. Today we are honored to have a very special guest. Dr. Mansur Nurdel is a board-certified optometrist with offices throughout the Denver metro area. In addition to his time spent as a doctor, he's a real estate agent and investor. He currently resides in Castle Pines, Colorado, with his wife and two boys. He's the author of One More Mountain, Fleeing Iran for America. Good afternoon, and thank you so kindly for being here with us at Politics Done Right, Dr. Nurdel.
Well, thank you very much, Egberto. It's an honor to be in your show and the opportunity to talk to you as well as your listeners. This is an honor for me.
Well, look, let me first tell you the book that we want to discuss. And I've always been intrigued with Iran. I mean, I from the time I went to the University of Texas at Austin, which guess what? It started in 1980. So that should be quite apropos with you. But anyway, the book, interesting. But first of all, tell me a little bit about yourself. Not in Iran, but right now, present day in Colorado.
As I have really written the book, I am an immigrant. Of course, I came into the United States as a refugee in 1989. And now currently I live in Colorado, and I operate multiple eye care centers in Denver metro area. And as you mentioned, I have two kids. Two boys. Actually, one is in UT Austin. So
he's a Longhorn.
That's right. He's a big Longhorn fan. So
well, he should be happy because
any of the games.
I know, but here's the deal: we are in the we are in the what you call it, playoff.
That's
right. We
right.
made it to the playoffs. So you're going to be coming to Texas, I guess, a few times to check him out. Does he like it here?
Oh, he loves it. He loves Austin, and he had a difficult in the summer there, though. But the heat this year was hot, so
brutal. Yes.
Yes. So he is enjoying it. So that's what I'm, of course, really in the real estate world. I'm a more investor than really more a real estate agent. But I do have a license for just myself, and so to understand the real estate world a little bit better.
So you came here and pretty much lived the American dream. You had the wherewithal to go ahead and work your butt off to move forward here in America, correct?
Yes, I actually came with the $413 in my pocket, and the deposit for my apartment was $275. So I was short even paying the first month the rent. But I am grateful what America has offered to me and many other immigrants. I am really perfect example of American dream immigrant life.
I'm not going to try to get political with you on my politics, but I just want to say something. One of the reasons we do what we do here is exactly that reason. I'm an immigrant as well. I'm an immigrant from Panama, Central America. And one of the reasons I do what I do is we came here like you did to America as a dream, to America as a place where you can be successful if you work hard, and America where your integrity gets you further. So we cannot allow that to go away. But let's talk about your book. Tell me, why did you write the book, first of all?
Well, it's I'll tell you background. In 2007, a very good patient of mine invited us to see a play that he was going to be at. And the play was in a Cherry Creek North Theater, and we didn't know what the play was. And my wife and we just really went to support Mark. And we went there, and the play was about the diary of Anne Frank. As a Persian, as an Iranian, we have no clue who Anne Frank is. We really don't. I had never known about it. I had up to that point. So I am sitting in the play theater at Egberto, and I was really watching my own life in front of my eyes. It was so impactful that I could not sit and watch the play. I walked out. I couldn't control myself. My wife didn't know the depth of the stories, and she panicked. So I here I'm 45 years old, and in the hall is crying his heart out. So ironically, I had actually exactly at the same age as Anne Frank. I had my own diary because it was so real that I couldn't take it. This was the opening of my talking to my friends and my patients. And anytime I told a little bit of a story of my life to my patients and my friends, they said, "Oh my God, you have to write this." Finally, in 2019, I had more opportunity. Workload was reduced significantly. And I said, this is the one thing I need to do. So I really wrote the book for my kids, my new generation, to understand what life looks like outside this wonderful country that we have here.
Now, you started the book with a story and candy. Tell me a little bit about that.
I was 4 years old when my cousin and I, we ran to a only store that our village had, and we ran to get a candy, and the store owner refused to sell us the candy. And I was just confused. I was, what would a 4 years old really can comprehend? So I came back to my mom and crying and say, his name was Red Eye Muhammad, actually. It was so funny that he had, now that I'm in eye care center, and I know what that condition was.
Right.
So, and my mom said, yes, the store owner will not sell goods to our family because we are not Muslims. We are Bahais. We were the only Baha'i family in that village. And I really faced the discrimination and from age 4, and knowing my family is different when I was 4 years old.
The reason I wanted to start there is because that is inherently something that so many of us have to go through. And I think it, as bad as it is, sometimes what it either makes you stronger, meaning you're going to have the resolve to overcome what's been happening to you, or you're going to succumb to it. And it's evident you overcame it time and time again. So tell me the story of you moving around in Iran as you and your family as a person with a different religion than the religion that predominated there. And let me tell you how I'd like to kind of address this, because you lived through various periods in Iran. In other words, in Iran, we could get started with Mossadegh, or we could get started with when the Shah was in power, migrated into to 79 when it was taken over. How were these different periods? Well, with you, not Mossadegh, but the other one. Well, how did this period affect your family, not being that religion that it has been a constancy several thousand years in the making?
So I actually address some of these in my book. So I started the book really since when I was 4 years old, and I described what, as a young boy, I really experienced everything that you can think of: bullying, name calling, stone thrown at, and just really there was not even a day that I would come home without being bullied on the streets. So, but that was part of daily life. And but in 1978, things changed drastically. So our family, which was the only Baha'i family in the small village in northwestern part of Iran, actually our house was completely destroyed. Our belongings were looted, and we were forced to leave the village. And while we were given only 8 hours of ultimatum, either tomorrow morning to go to mosque and recant what we believe, and or get out of the village. We chose the latter one. So right, I was only 14 years old. In front of my eyes, everything was completely destroyed and burned down. So we left the village, and I grew up. Basically, I spent my teenage years in a larger city called Tabriz in northwestern part of Iran. And these teenage years were tumultuous. This was the time that there was a war between Iran and Iraq, as well as the everyday political unrests, and Baha'is were always target during these times. So several Baha'is were executed during that time in Tabriz. Over 200 Baha'is were executed actually in early 1980s in Iran. So I witnessed all of those.
Now, interestingly, didn't the Baha'i religion start off in Iran?
Yes. Baha'i faith is started in 1844 in Iran.
Now, being of the religion, I mean, there's nothing physically ethnically different than that you have from any Iranian. So you had to be demonstrably, you had to display your religion in somehow that folks knew you were of a different faith, correct?
Correct. They should know that. Yes.
So it takes a certain amount of fortitude that in a place where mostly the entire or the vast majority of the country is Islam of the Islam faith, Muslim, that you can actually stand out as a Baha'i or Christian or whatever other religion that inhabits the location. What do you think gave your family that resolve to keep to be able to live that life surrounded as they were?
Well, I think that just being true to yourself and your heart and your belief. So my family, I still have 3 brothers in Iran, Egberto. They're still suffering today. It hasn't gone away. So what has happened since 1988, it has become systematically backed by the government. So that's the prior 1978, 79. Yes, we were in a small village. I was bullied. However, it wasn't in a larger city population to know, okay, you are Baha'i. But now it has become a systematic persecutions of Baha'is by the Islamic government. No Baha'i even today as a young man can get a higher education than high school.
Oh, really?
That's right. My American friends, they really get dumbfounded to hear it. No Baha'i is still allowed to get a higher education than a high school in Iran. Baha'is cemeteries and holy places are destroyed. And even the old, what is it? The old a dead body is going to do to you. So, and these are done and really by the government. No Baha'i is still, no Baha'i works in a government agencies, large corporations, and they are in a tremendous economic pressure. So they are all over about 300 now, about 300,000, close to 400,000 Baha'is. All of them are suffering in every aspect of it because of these persecution today.
Now, are you telling me then, Dr. Nurdel, that Baha'is in Iran, Baha'is are not doctors, lawyers, or any of these things? They can only be, let's say, a storekeeper or something like that?
Unfortunately and sadly, absolutely right.
Because if you can't get a professional degree, you can't practice medicine, you can't practice law, you can't practice engineering
Correct.
or any one of those subjects.
Correct.
So if you wanted to be a doctor, you just about had to be a refugee as you were. Tell us a little bit about your path from Iran to refugeedom.
Sure. Well, just to give you a little bit, even to confirm what you said, actually, my brother was a second-year medical school student, and he was expelled from university, and he is still in Iran, and he is in just running a shop.
Mm-hmm.
And not every shop, by the way, they cannot run a shop that has to do with the food or so. Restrictions, just incredible.
Right.
So to answer your question, so I left Iran to pursue a dream of really going becoming an architect, which I ended up being not an architect. And I came to Milwaukee, Wisconsin as a refugee. As I mentioned, it's really nothing in my pocket.
Right.
So
Where did you come through? You started in Iran. How did you get to Wisconsin?
I was in Turkey for a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So what the book is all about, because I walked the border of Iran and Turkey in the dead of winter, 13 days walk, when the temperatures were way below zero, snow up to chest. We crossed the frozen rivers and mountains as high as our Rocky Mountains in Colorado, even higher.
Wow.
So, and 13 days. We walked at the night times and we slept at the daytimes. So after 13 days, which again, I detailed every single day. Fortunately, I had all these notes to bring those
Decades. Yeah.
information to life. So it's after I arrived to Turkey, you have to go to United Nations, the refugee office, and register. So I was as a refugee in Turkey for 18 months before coming to United States.
And then you went through the immigration at the United States to get in entrance as a
Correct.
refugee into
Correct.
Wisconsin.
Correct.
Now, when you said you traveled through those mountains at night for 13 days, is that a known smuggling path, let's say, that that's used to get people out of Iran who are trying to escape the persecution?
There's a ethnic group in that region, Kurds. Everyone knows these days Kurdistan.
Right.
The Kurdistan is the Kurdish people live in the region that share the border between Iran and Turkey and Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
So they really know that region well. They actually intermarry from the one country to another country. So the border doesn't mean anything to them.
Right.
So we had
a guide?
Guided or hired these smugglers or Kurdish smugglers to guide us. But it is so dangerous, Egberto, that very, very few Iranians will take that path. It's a super dangerous path. So there are other Baha'is have escaped from Iran. The majority have taken the route to Pakistan, which is much less dangerous.
Now, when you made that route, that journey, did you do it with relatives, or did you do it pretty much, I'm getting the hell out of here?
No, two other friends.
Uh-huh.
Two friends that one is now in Australia, and the other one was in Canada, but unfortunately we lost him.
Okay. Sorry to hear about that. Now, it's interesting because one of the reasons that after I Tom kind of told me Tim told me about you, that immigrant story is powerful, especially in these times where xenophobia is going through the roof. And I tell you, a lot of people don't understand the tribulations that folks go through to come to the United States or other countries. Some of them seem to believe like there's really much of a humane choice not to do it. And I think anybody who can walk across a mountain, walk across mountains on 0 degrees, uh, they've earned their right to live anywhere.
But thank you. I think my view on this, frankly, my story probably is not any. I am lucky one that I was able to write this story, Egberto.
Right.
I am very, very sure there are much more deeper stories than mine. The immigrants, they really, what my view is, bring a different different light to our fabrics of our society. We contribute to this society, and I am perfect example of this.
Hmm.
I'm actually honored to say that in the past 25 years, I had employed as high as 86 staff in the Metro Denver area. So it's a gift this country has offered to us, and I am very blessed to be a part of this.
Well, of course, you're blessed to be a part of it. I'm blessed to be a part of this country. We are blessed to be immigrants. Are blessed to be here, and those who are former immigrants as well are blessed to be here.
Absolutely.
So what I try to mention, and with your story, why it endears me to it is, again, it's not only that you've employed a whole lot of people, is that you have made the fabric of this country, like every immigrant has made the fabric of this country what it is. Because of who we are is
Correct.
why we can be as powerful as we are. Absent that, we're nothing.
I 100% agree. I think the other thing that I have to say, no one really gets up and leaves his or her country because we just want to. Okay,
Right.
there are certain circumstances that forces us to take this really dangerous routes. I mean,
Right.
I didn't just get up and say, okay, I'm just going to walk on 13 days in the dangerous mountains. It was actually, I knew several months before that, it was 19 years old and 3 other Bahais were perished in that mountains. But
Hmm.
you do it. Sometimes you just don't have a choice, and or you see a choice future better on the other side of the mountain. At least you take that risk. I took that risk, and I succeeded. And unfortunately, there were people, some did not succeed, and that's how the immigration is.
Hmm.
Immigration is all about taking risks for better future on the other side.
Well, the people who settled this country, they took risks, and as well, didn't they? And
Absolutely.
everybody who's sitting on this land took some risks. Those who lost this land, who were originally here, took risks. I mean, one of the things that I try to put out there to because right now we're going through a period of xenophobia in this country, and what I try to make people know using my program quite often is that, first of all, it is great to have you here in this country. It is great to have all the immigrants in this country, but let's also note that externalities, including some created by our country, yours truly, the United States of America, are directly responsible for a lot of the people transition into this to this land. So I think your story and the story of many other immigrants who could tell a different story than your story would give the mosaic that people need to see that, in effect, we shouldn't be looking at immigration as a problem, but we should be embracing immigration, not only because it's a net positive for the country, but just because it's the right thing to do.
100%. I think we need to, I'm pretty sure you know all these statistics, and the United States really 4.4% of the world's population live in the United States.
Yeah.
We consume 18% of the world's resources.
Yes.
We have to rethink, okay, of our consumerism. We have to think. So America is a land of opportunity. And if we want to have a better world, we need to re-examine our behavior, frankly.
And the fact, math is, as you well know, math is absolute. If
Correct.
4% of the people are taking 18% of the resources, and then you ask why immigrants are coming over here, well, there's a
100%.
shortage of resources. So math is absolute. We have to be cognizant of that. And one of the things, Mansur, is that too many people, they just hear the top lines and they don't understand the history of the world, and they don't understand the complicity of what we do in the world. And your story and the story of immigrants over and over are there to tell just that. Look, I enjoyed speaking to you, but before we go, I need to ask you a few things. One thing, most important question is,
Sure.
what would you have liked me to ask you that I didn't ask you?
I think you asked everything, and only thing that I would mention, how this someone can get a hold of this book.
Oh, wow, we're going to talk about that. I just want to know if within the meat of the book, is there something that you want to tell the audience before we go ahead and tell them how they can find the book?
Well, I think it would be addressed. Again, it's really, the book is about the human resiliency and shared faith, and how I like my readers and people know what the Baha'is are going through in Iran as a result of that. But I appreciate, I think we addressed everything that I thought we were going to talk.
Well, look, let me ask you, Dr. Nurdel, how can folks, first of all the links to your book is going to be in the accompanying blog for this particular program, but please tell them how they can get your book in other domains.
Thank you. The website for the book is www.onemoremountain.com. The book is available in every format, in audiobook, ebook, Kindle, and it's available through all the major bookstores, as well as any of the Amazon and major bookstores.
And you even got it in hard copy too.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, well, look, first of all, Dr. Mansur, the author of One More Mountain, Fleeing Iran from or for America. Let me repeat that. One More Mountain, Fleeing Iran for America. Thank you so kindly for having been on Politics Done Right.
Thank you very much. It was an honor, and it was an honor to be here and to talk to your listeners. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.